Gently gong the gong. And then come to standing. Just lift and roll the shoulders. This opens the energy pathways up to the head. Just lift your toes and press your feet into the ground. So spacing out the big toe from the little toe, and then all the other toes will be spacing out. And really feel that you're pressing the feet, connecting with the ground, because your stability or your posture is set by your feet. And it's quite easy to not engage the feet properly. And then breathing in, raise your right arm, stretch it up, turn your head to the left away from the right arm, breathing into the centre, and breathing out, lower your right arm. And then breathing in, raise the left arm, stretch up, turn your head to the right, away from the left arm. Breathe into the centre, and breathing out, lower the left arm. Raise both arms, clasp and reverse, hands up. Press your feet into the ground. Breathing out, go to the left. Breathing in, come to the centre. And breathing out, go to the right. Breathing in, come to the centre. Breathing out, turn to the left. Breathe into the centre. And as you breathe out, turn to the right. Breathing in, come to the centre. Lower your arms and place your hands on your waist. Press your feet into the ground and turn your head to look over your left shoulder. And then bring your head to the centre as you turn your head to look over your right shoulder. And then come to the centre. Test your balance by just lifting your heels and then lowering your heels. And carry on as you bend your knees. You might like to separate your feet. And as you bend your knees, your bottom goes away from you. You can look at the ground and you will feel your abdominal muscles engage to support you. And then breathing in, press your feet into the ground as you come back upright. Lift and roll your shoulders and clasp behind your back, aiming your knuckles to the floor. As you stand up, this opens your shoulders. Breathing out, turn to the left, and your hands might go slightly to the right. Come to the centre. You can slightly lift your hands away from your bottom if that is good for you. And then turn to the right. Your hands might go to the left. And then come to the centre. And then just release your hands as you lift and roll your shoulders. And breathing in, stretch your hands up to the top. You can look forward or up. Looking up makes it more of a back bend. And then bring your head to the centre and lower your arms. And lift and roll your shoulders. As you breathe in, circle both arms up again, clasping, reversing the palms upwards. And as before, go slightly to the left. Come to the centre as you breathe in, and breathing out, go slightly to the right. Breathe in, come to the centre, and as you breathe out, turn to the left. Come to the centre, and breathe out, turn to the right. And then come to the centre. And lower your hands, palms can face the floor. Maybe step your feet out a little bit as you carry on lowering your palms to the ground or just above the ground. When you've come down far enough, breathe out and turn your entire torso and your arms towards your left foot. Come into the centre with your hands and breathing out, turn your entire torso and your hands towards the right foot. Come to the centre. Place your hands on the floor, bend your knees enough to do that, and either bend a little bit, or for those of you who are very flexible, you can come to a full squat. But anywhere in between is actually very helpful to open the lower back. And then inhaling, come to a forward bend. Bring your feet parallel if you've opened them out before, and just clasp behind your calves. Holding your calves and pulling in as if you're doing a downward ski run. For those of you who have skied, bending your knees and your chin tucks in, and then press your feet into the ground to roll up vertebra to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then inhaling, raise both hands, join at the thumbs, and just sway from side to side. And then come to the center and swirl your wrists down. And then swirl your wrists up. Like the sun rays that just aren't present at the moment, but hopefully this will generate sunshine. Down and then up. Stretch your fingers out and once more come down. Lift and roll your shoulders. And we've done this before, we did it yesterday in fact, but join in with me when you're ready. Breathing in, raise your hands up. Breathing out, hands behind you. Breathing in, hands cross. Remember which hand's on top. Breathing out, hands behind. Breathe in, hands up, back. Cross the other arm, back. Up, down. Cross the other arm back. You're alternating the cross of your arms, if you can remember. If you can't, don't worry. And this ticks many boxes. Stress out is one of them. It's working on almost going through, you're shaking out accumulated energy. So it works, my understanding is, on the liver and gallbladder meridians. There's also going through your magnetic field, so it's quite cleansing for the body. It's just getting rid of any thoughts. And it's difficult to focus and concentrate when you're doing this. Warms you up. And just come to sway your arms. And then come to step your feet hip width apart and come into this very familiar swaying from side to side. You can lift your heels. You're balancing your pelvis as you're doing this. You're balancing your brain hemispheres as the left and the right are kind of called in to keep your balance in this swaying movement. And the Tibetan medicine side of yoga is called Yantra Yoga. And in Yantra Yoga, it's much more pronounced, where you're literally flinging your arms to your shoulders, almost slapping your shoulders. But obviously, if you're in a queue at a supermarket or in an airport, you might like to still do the same thing. But as we start to slow our movement down to less and less, you can see that just simply a slight sway from side to side is much more unobtrusive, but it's still giving you that balance and de-stress factor when you're standing for long periods of time. Should you be tempted to go to any of the countries on whatever list and stand in the long airport queues that I'm hearing about, but I'm sure none of us is going to do that quite yet. So then come to the centre. Bring your feet to hip width apart, lift and roll your shoulders. Breathing in, circle your arms up. Palms now come together. Bring your palms through the heart center and carry on as you bend your knees. Bringing this time your hands to your shins. Press your hands into your shins. Lengthen from your tailbone to the top of the head. Flat back. Breathe out as you bend your knees and bend your elbows. Breathing in, flat back again. Stay here as you breathe out. And breathing in, press your feet into the ground and roll up to standing, raising your arms up. Stretch your fingers so that your thumb comes towards you and your little finger goes away from you. And breathing out, lower your arms back down alongside you, and then lift and roll your shoulders coming back. And then this is going to be an immunity booster for the upper part of the lungs. So as we're easing back out of lockdown, this is quite helpful. So joining in with me, you're breathing in as you bring your hands up, breathing out as you almost break fists, light fists, and bring your hands down. In, out, in, out. In. You can breathe quite audibly. I'm breathing through the nose. Some people like to breathe out through their mouths. Last one. And then just lift and roll the shoulders. Lift one shoulder and drop, and the other shoulder and drop. Drop and drop. If you are interested in that, that's part one of the immunity booster. Just one immunity booster does a huge amount for your general immunity. That comes from a series of ancient warrior movements. It's largely not a tradition, forgotten tradition, but it's quite specialised down in Kerala, as I understand it. And it was brought to the West very much by somebody called Dr. Kumar, who lectures at Imperial College, interestingly, when he's over in the UK, and is always very well attended, and then goes to one of the big London yoga places, and I go there, and I followed him for years. And this is all part of immune boosting. So, stand straight, just Tadasana, press your feet into the ground. Just note that if you tense your knees, it seems to have an effect on your lower abdomen, so you're boosting your core. It's a very easy way to do that. If you want to further boost your core, just subtly bend your knees and bottom out, then come back again. Hands into the hips. This lifts your chest. If you're slightly down because it's so miserable, lifting the chest is anti-depressing. Lift and roll your shoulders. And we're going to do the most peculiar, which we did yesterday, thumping the K27 points, which are the kidney and energy meridians, connecting to our general well-being and essence, the source of our energy power. If you drop your fingers to the bottom of that U notch and then move your fingers an inch below the collarbone, there comes a point which is sometimes quite sore. You can either tap that point or thump the point like a gorilla. And that is very helpful for rejuvenating almost the whole body energy. And you'll find this in energy psychology, and you'll find it in parts of EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. You'll find it in Donna Eden's Energy for Health. It's a very simple thing to do to clear the energy points. And then just release. It's a very strange thing to do. And as you lift and roll your shoulders back, you're exposing yet more meridian points. As the shoulders join the torso, that in there is connecting to the lung meridian. So opening and rolling the shoulders back opens the lungs. And then come to the top of the mat as we're going to do some options on Salute to the Sun. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up, either looking ahead or looking back if your neck will take it. Breathing out, bend your elbows and bend your knees as you come to touch your hands to either side of your feet. Step your right foot back, keep your right leg high and stretch out the right leg, extending the right heel. Then lower the right knee to the ground and slide the left leg back. You're in cat. Breathing in, dip your back, looking either up or along the mat. That depends on your neck capacity, how you feel. Breathing out, round your back, your chin slightly comes into your chest. And do this a couple of times in your own breath pattern. You're beginning to warm the back, flexible through the spine. Restful for the body because the heart is parallel to the ground. But this time, as you round, you can stay in cat-cow or you can tuck your toes, tummy in, and come to a soft downward dog. Bring your bottom back away from your hands, and begin to straighten your legs. And then extend your left leg, bend your right knee, and you'll stretch out the left back of the leg. And then reverse as you extend your right leg and bend your left knee. And then you can walk the dog in your own time, either more quickly or slowly. Your hips can sway from side to side. Perhaps extend both legs back. Your heels don't have to touch the ground at all. Tummy in and then bend both knees back down to the earth. Downward dog is considered an inversion, but it's also considered an all-round body toner. Hands to the left, and that gives space for your right foot to come up. And then hands either side of your right foot. Stretching to your right hip, so allow the right knee to go over beyond the 90-degree angle, which is safe because you're supporting the body weight with your hands on the mat. But now bring your knee back to that 90 degrees. Feel that you can move the right knee leg out to the right foot out. And then perhaps slide your hands up your right leg to come to high kneeling. And then breathing in, raising your hands to cactus arms. This opens again the shoulder meridians, but then optionally carrying on to raise your hands up into an optional, almost like crescent moon. You can look ahead. If your balance is good, you can look up, which becomes almost like a back bend of the crescent moon. And then breathing out, bring your hands to either side of your front right foot. Your left hand goes to the inside of your right foot, and your right hand goes on your right waist, opening out, turning to the side, to the right. This is a modified turn. Breathing out, bring both hands back down to the ground, either side of your right foot. Tuck your left toes, tummy in, lift your left knee, and step or slide your left foot to your right foot. And hands on the shins, flat back. Breathe out, bend your knees, bend your elbows. Breathing in, flat back, press your hands into your shins. Stay here as you breathe out. And as you next breathe in, bend your knees, press your feet into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Carrying on to raise your hands up, stretching your fingers, looking ahead or up. Breathing out, lowering your hands back down alongside you. And lifting and rolling the shoulders back opens the energy pathways from the chest, all carrying them up to the head. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Circle the hands up, looking ahead or up. Breathing out, bend your elbows and bend your knees as you round down, hands either side of your feet. And then step or slide your left leg back. The left leg is high, extended back for a nanosecond. And then lower your left knee to the ground and slide your right foot back so that you're in tabletop. Coming to your cat-cow, breathing in, dip your back, looking either up or along the mat. Breathing out round, chin to chest. Breathing in, dipping your back. And breathing out, rounding chin to chest. Once more, dipping your back as you look up or along the mat, and this time as you round your back, tuck your toes. Optionally, you can do another cat-cow and come into a soft downward dog. Walking the dog, feel that you can adjust your feet to be wider than hip width apart, and you might like to bring your feet slightly closer to your hands. Just sway from side to side. Both legs extend backwards and then bend both knees back down to the earth. And your hands this time can go to the right, giving space for your left foot to come up, and just really lean into your left hip. Your left knee can extend beyond the 90 degrees because you're supporting your upper body weight and not putting any pressure on the knee. But in order to come upright, bring your left knee back so that it forms a 90-degree angle. Maybe move your left foot out to the left for greater stability, and then kneel up. Cactus arms, looking up or straight ahead, and then arms up into your crescent moon, half crescent moon. You can stay looking forward or you can look up, but looking up is more of a balancing act. And then breathing out, bring your hands back down either side of your left foot. Your right hand stays where it is and your left hand goes onto your left waist, opening out to the side. Now you can stay here, you can raise your left arm up if your shoulder has the ability to do that. And for anybody who wants to be further stretched, and I'm not good at this, you can tuck your right toes underneath and come upward, which is even stronger. These are all options. And then bend your right knee back down to the mat. Hands either side of your left foot. Tuck your right toes underneath. Lift your right knee and then step your right foot to your left foot. And then hands onto the shins. Breathing in, lengthen. Half flat back. Breathe out, bend your knees, bend your elbows. And breathing in, lengthen, flatten your back. Stay here as you breathe out. And breathing in, press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra, standing, raising your arms upwards. And then breathing out, lower your hands back down alongside you. Lift and roll your shoulders. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, circle your arms up, stretching up. This time bring your hands, palms together. Bring them through the center of the body. Roll down. Hands on the shins. Press your hands into your shins. Half lift, flat back. Breathe out, bend your knees and bend your elbows. Breathing in, half back, flat back. Stay here as you breathe out. And breathing in, press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Stretch your arms up and breathing out, lower your hands. So the transition to seated, classically, because they're all very into style, you bring your hands to your heart, bring your hands out, and then come to seated. But come to hand the mat, however you want to. And we're going to come seated with the legs out in front of us. So on a very simplistic level, raising our health and energy and vibration is, the vibration is very easy to access by just bouncing your legs on the ground. And you can rub your legs, or you can pat your legs, or do a combination of both. It's like dry skin brushing, it's bringing circulation to the legs. And you can go right down to your feet, or you can go right up to your chest and your arms. It's a really nice way to just connect with the energy and boost the vibration. You'll notice if you just vibrate your knees onto the ground, that vibration travels up to the head, but you might not think that, or you might not feel that. Just rest your hands. Classic yoga is fingers in front, but this is just very relaxed. Rest your hands and extend your toes up to the ceiling. Stretch your feet, but not so much to give yourself cramp. And then just gently point your toes again, not so much that you're giving yourself cramp, away from you. Inhaling, toes up to the ceiling, and breathing out, toes away from you. So this is just to repeat this a couple of times, beginning to wake up the feet, beginning to boost the circulation, and then circle your ankles in one direction, and then circle your ankles in the other direction. And then relax. Before we go on to the next pose, this very strange movement you'll find in Kundalini Yoga, and it's banging the big toes together, so which also creates vibration. And in Kundalini Yoga, you'll be doing this for about 50 times. It's weird, it might freak you out, but again, it's supposed to set a vibration up in the body for ultimate health. So I leave that thought with you. You do feel slightly odd after 50 times plus. They do it very fast in Kundalini. You know, they really are, you kind of lose the plot a bit, but anyway, whatever works for you. So then just let that vibration, that tingling in your feet settle for a breath, and then open your feet so that your legs are in a V. I'm going to bend a knee up, but you don't have to. If your knees are a bit dodgy, just keep your legs open, but otherwise I'm going to bend up my right knee. I can have a support underneath my right thigh if I need it. And my right sole of the foot is aiming towards the inner left outstretched leg. Just touch your hands lightly to either side of you to lengthen you. Breathing in, raise your hands up. I'm going to join my thumbs together, turning towards my outstretched left leg. And then I like to bend my elbows, but you can come straight down if you're strong on your back to rest your hands on your shins. Just breathing in and out. If you need to stretch your right leg out, then please do. This is called Janushirasana, which is head to knee pose, and is good for the right hip, which is being open, the right inner groin, part of our lympho-immune system. It's a rotation, which is realigning for the back, and it's a forward bend, which is calming for the nervous system. Just check that the back of your neck is long. If you do this classically, as it's meant to be done, you would then slide your hands to come back upright again. Do exactly the same again, hands up, go to the left, your left heel's extended, come forward however you like to, and you might find that the second time you just come down a little bit further. If you really are down quite some way, then you can take your right hand to the outside of your left foot, and your left hand goes behind you. That really does stretch your right side. And it stretches a muscle, apart from the piriformis muscle at the hip, it stretches a muscle which I think is called quadratus lumborum, which runs from the pelvis up to the ribs and is very key in some back issues. It's not often mentioned. Breathing in, slide your hands up. Place your right hand behind you and raise your left arm upwards. Look at your left thumb. The next part is strong and optional, so either stay looking at your left thumb, or if you would like to be stretched further, roll onto your right thigh. Press your right hand down, lift your body and come into a side stretch. That is strong, so you don't have to do it. And when you're ready, come back to seated. And then take your left hand to your outstretched left leg and bend that up into a double V. Feel that you can shift your bottom around. This double V is one of the 5 perfect poses for hip health, or one of the 5 poses for perfect hip health. Hands either side, turn to face your right knee, tummy in, and walk over your right knee, either staying upright or, if you've got the flexibility, come right down. So however much you want to come forward. You'll feel the release on your right side of your bottom and the lower back, but only if it's comfortable. If you're squashing yourself, then come up slightly. And then gently walk your hands back in. Hands either side of you to support you as you lift your legs out and up and then straighten your legs. You might find your bottom's got a skew width, so you might like to just stretch out under the bottom. Just bounce your legs again, maybe rub them. Feet open in a V, and this time bend your left knee. If that's dodgy on your knee, then just keep your legs open in a V. Take support underneath the left thigh if you need it. Extend your right heel. Hands touch either side of you. Breathing in, raise your hands up, clasp thumbs, and turn towards your outstretched right leg, coming forward either by bending your elbows for a softer descent for your back or straight over. Hands resting on the shin. And coming down to over the right leg. So you're evening up the other side. In yoga, Janusirsasana is considered a really important pose because it ticks a number of boxes. And again, my understanding is that yoga, we're talking about centuries ago, didn't include standing asanas, it only included seated postures. So this then had particular significance. And then sliding your hands up your shins and coming to do the same again, just thumbs together, turn over your front right leg and sliding your hands down. You can stay comfortably at the shin, or if you find that you're going a little bit further, come to hold wherever it's appropriate. You might like to hold your foot, or you might like to take your left hand to the outside of your right foot. That's really quite a stretch. And your right hand behind, your neck is long. If that's too much, then just come back. Don't feel that you're having to struggle or pull. I think this pose sometimes is useful to you work out where your little stiffnesses can creep in. And then very, very gently sliding your hands back. This time your left hand goes behind you to the left and your right arm comes up as you look upwards to your right thumb. This is a mindfulness exercise. Opening up under the arm is helpful, but as you raise your eyes upwards, this disconnects from the stress centers of the brain. And you either stay looking up, but if you want to be challenged a little bit more, press your left hand into the ground and then roll your body towards your left thigh and knee, pressing the left hand, lifting your body up, chin in, right foot goes on the ground, you're stretching over, you're opening up on the right side. very strong pose, so don't feel you have to do this. Then lower your bottom to the ground. And take your right hand to bend up your right knee into a double V. If you are sitting here for any length of time, both bottom cheeks are supposed to be on the floor, but I have to say my right one's not, so you can always take support. And then your body is naturally turned towards your left knee, so you can then start to walk your hands out towards the left, and depending on where your capacity is, you can come over your left. And then very, very gently engage your lower abdomen, your tummy inwards slightly. This protects you. Press your hands down and walk yourself upright again. Hands either side of you so that you're balanced, and that gives you, as you lean slightly backwards, the opportunity to bring your knees up and then just stretch your legs out again, just bouncing them. And then come to bring the soles of the feet lightly together into Baddha-Konasana, sliding your hands down and just using your thumbs to massage the inside of your ankles. And Sue yesterday pointed out that this is part of, in reflexology, the lymph system. So just massage gently your inner ankles to boost your lymph. And you can just slightly come forward. Again, from the slight twist that we had, you can move your thumbs down to massage under the soles of your feet if you would like. And then slide your hands up your shins, hold the outside of your thighs to support them, to slide your feet out in front of you. Just bounce your legs again, and then come to cross your left leg over the right. Touch your hands just lightly either side of you. This crossing over of the ankles reflects in the brain as well. So it's an encouragement for the neural pathways to communicate, even though physically it doesn't seem that we're doing very much. And I have to think about this, bring your right hand to the outside of your left leg, and your left hand goes behind you. Breathing in, lengthen your spine, and breathing out, turn a little bit or a lot to look over your left shoulder. No struggling or pushing yourself, it's just where your body naturally comes to stop is good. And then very gently come back to the center. Hands either side of you to allow you to uncross your left foot, and then reverse that process by crossing your right foot over your left ankle. Lengthening your body as you breathe in, and then bringing your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Your right hand goes behind you, either the fingertips or the hand, that depends on how long your arms are. Breathing in, lengthen your body, and breathing out, turn to the right. The head is always the last thing to turn, and there should be no strain here. It doesn't go very far. It doesn't go very far. I always think this is brilliant for people when they're driving and you do need to do a manual check to see what's behind you. I know in driving, there was one driving thing a couple of years ago when my children learned to drive, where they said they didn't want you to look behind, you had to use mirrors, but then they changed their minds and it went back to this. And then breathing in, come back to the centre, uncross your legs, and just then slide your hands down your shins to come into a classic forward bend. Your hands can rest on your shins, or you can, depending again on your capacity, hold your big toes with your thumb on top and your second and third finger underneath. And then very gently slide your hands up. And this time we will actually come to windscreen wiper, but do it as the series intended, which is by lying on our backs, knees up to the ceiling. Hands are either palms down beside you or resting on your abdomen, and you might like your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. And just sway both knees to one direction, your hip will lift. Bring the knees back to the centre and then sway the knees in the other direction. So then just carry on windscreen wiper, swaying your knees from side to side. And as you carry on swaying, you might like to bring your head into this movement. And your head can move in any direction that you want. It can move with the direction of the knees, or it can move away from the direction of the knees. And you might find that you naturally set a pattern that's completely natural. If your hands are palms down, they're supporting you, but if they're resting on the abdomen, you're additionally giving yourself a slight massage across the navel or abdominal area. This can be quite soothing because you've got a number of acupressure points around your navel area, quite a wide circle, that reflect and connect to every organ in the body. It's represented here at the central abdominal area, which perhaps might explain why the hara or the dantian just below the navel is such an important energy point in Eastern philosophy. And in fact, most of the martial arts tradition is set up around having a strong core and connecting to your digestive system. So we're still swaying the knees from side to side. And then coming to the centre. And then bend and keep the right leg where it is, bending the left knee in towards us. And just circling the left knee in one direction. And then circling the left knee in the other direction. And then just releasing the left foot back down to the floor. And then hugging the right knee into the chest. Circling the right knee in one direction. You can feel the leg moving in the hip socket. And then circling the right knee in the other direction. And then just place the right foot back down onto the ground. Breathing in, raise your elbows bent upwards, and then just clasp your hands and hold your clasped hands under your head so that your elbows are out to the side. And breathing in, flatten your back as you lift your head perhaps just a few inches off the ground. If your tummy domes, you've gone too far for your capacity. And then just relax, bringing your head and your clasped hands and your elbows out to the side. And breathing out, flatten your back as you lift your head Your elbows can start to move together if you this helps to stretch the back of your neck out, and then just relax and release down. And one last time, flattening your back, lifting your head, lifting up, and then breathing out, just release and relax back down again. And then just resting your hands either on your abdomen or palms down alongside you. And then just, I'm trying to explain this. Left foot stays where it is, the right foot goes onto the side as you open the right leg and the right knee out to the side, and then bring your right knee to touch the left knee and move your right foot out. So you're almost opening your right knee out to the right and then bringing the right knee into the left and coming onto the inside of the foot. You can sway your knees from side to side. So it's almost walking the right foot out and in. And then come to the other side. So opening the left knee, you'll come onto the outside edge of your left foot. Bring your left knee up to the centre and then turn so that you're almost turning in pigeon-toed onto your big toe. Your knees might sway and it's just a slightly different way of opening your hips. But if you haven't got that, that's my apologies because I haven't explained it very clearly. Opening and then closing. And then hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. This should be better on the explanation. Hugging both knees into the chest and then letting both knees drift away from you to arm's length. Hugging both knees into the chest and hugging both knees, letting both knees travel away. And hugging both knees into the chest, letting both knees travel away. And again, just do this a few more times. You're beginning to massage along the lower back area. But this simple pose is so much more than that. You're connecting into the apana energy, which is the downward energy, but it's actually the foundational energy, it's your earthing energy. And that really does ground you, particularly if you're very stressed out, where the energy resides in your head a lot of the time. Bringing the energy down through to the lower part of the body is deeply soothing. And of course it kind of mimics a fetal position, but you're massaging across your lower back that can take such a hammering when we move normally. So just carry on, hugging the knees into the chest and just releasing. You're also coordinating your movement with your breath here. You breathe out naturally as you hug your knees in, squashing the air out, and then you breathe in as the knees go away from you. Just hugging in and releasing. It's incredibly safe. It also starts to rejuvenate the blood all the way along the spine. The spine is lying flat on the ground, and you can feel the blood almost pulsing all the way from the lower to the part of the spine, all the way up to the head. The muscles in your lower back can begin to start to relax. It does take quite often a long time, up to 15 to 20 minutes for the lower back muscles, if they're in spasm, to really start to relax. But you can get a sense of this relaxation. The body doesn't have to hold the muscles, so it can release its grip, and therefore it can start to release and deconstrict any tenseness there is in the body, if that makes sense. And then last time, hugging your knees into your chest, releasing one foot and then the other foot onto the ground. Just one last time, I'm resting the hands on the abdomen, the palms down, sway your knees from side to side. You can really lift your hip and sway both knees so almost totally onto the side. So even this movement has a huge amount of variation and possibilities within it. And then you can either come to rest in Shavasana, or if you prefer to come into constructive rest, you would have your feet wider than hip width apart and bring the knees to rest in like an A shape. Just gently roll or move your head to the right, bring it to the centre, and then just move it to the left. So you're again unravelling the neck once again, left, right to left. Just relax your feet, your knees, your bottom. Relax your hands and your arms, let them be heavy. Just slightly lift your chest and then set it back down on the mat and just rest and let it be heavy. Just check that your shoulders are away from your ears and turn your head very gently from side to side. And just be aware of the quality of the breath as it comes in and leaves through the entrance of the nostrils. And you can follow the breath as it goes into the nostrils, into the, follow the path into the head and then down, and follow the breath as it comes out again. And then as you follow the breath in to a point in the centre of the head, breathe out, and with the out-breath, let the breath travel down through the body, cleansing as it goes, and taking with it anything you don't want today, leaving through the soles of the feet. Bring your attention back to the entrance of the nostrils, breathing into a point in the centre of the head, and breathing out all the way down through the body, leaving through the soles of the feet. Take a moment to have a thought for the day. It can be for yourself or for someone close to you. And then just release that thought. Your intention has been set. And this time, just think of a colour that resonates with you today. And as you breathe in through the entrance of your nostrils to a point in the centre of your head, imagine breathing in the breath that it's the colour of your choice today, and breathing out, the coloured air takes down with it everything you don't want, cleansing as it goes. Any physical pains or niggles or any mental thoughts that you're letting go of today. And then one last time as you breathe in, just let that coloured air surround you both inside as it goes down and also outside, almost wrapping you like a cocoon. And just sliding down, leading through the soles of the feet. And then take your hands and rub your hands together. And when you feel that your hands are warm, just place your hands over your closed eyes and very gently and gradually open your eyes into the darkness of your hands. And then just let your hands slide away so as that you reorientate to the natural light. And then hug one knee in once more and hug the other knee in and just gently rock from side to side. And then really take your time to roll onto one side, perhaps to the right, away from your heart. And you're asking a lot of your body to come up because the blood is all running in a parallel line to the ground, and all of a sudden you're asking your body to press down, perhaps with your left hand, and to gradually come up. So coming up, again, give your body a chance to reorientate itself. And come, when you're ready, into a very gentle cross-legged position. Just once more, touch your hands to either side of you. And raise your right hand, perhaps bent at the elbows, sliding your left hand out along the mat. You can bend your left elbow, even come onto your left elbow. Just a gentle stretch to the left. And then tummy in to support you as you press your left hand down and come upright. And then place your right hand on the ground, sliding your right fingers out to the right, raising your left elbow, perhaps coming to the right elbow as you lean over to the right. You can then, once you're down, stretch your arm out, your left arm out. Tummy in as you press down on your right hand to come upright. And then just very gently, keep your hands almost where they are, just a slight bow forward, lengthening from your lower back, chin into the chest. It's a really very subtle movement forward. Taking it in and an out breath. And then just very gently coming to upright. Bringing your hands to your heart and taking a bow now for yourself. To have a very lovely day ahead, and thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you.